Well, there's a person in the room we could ask.
But does Morgan have to like switch modes?
No, well, it doesn't switch to a totally another mode.
From the very unofficial travel guide. Thank you so much. I think that was really cool. When I said I was going to be on this cruise, so many people posted in the comments or wrote me on private messages or whatever that they were also going to be on this cruise. You guys, there were over 40 people. I put them all on the mailing list, and you are the select few that got to come. So I hope you feel special. I feel very honored that you're here. I'm so thankful, not only that you come here, but that you watch my videos, follow my Facebook and Instagram or whatever. Anybody have a book? Did anybody buy the book? You did? Yeah. Thank you so much. So yeah, I just thought I would give us the opportunity to sit down here and have a little chat. I know a lot of times people have questions, and when we're done with this Q&A round, you see I made a little red sofa here. I bought this for the event that I did at Margaritaville in Orlando a couple weeks ago. It was a really cool thing too. So you guys are also only the second time I've done this where I've sat down with people and just chatted with people in a way like this. So it's I am a little bit nervous, but you all look friendly. I'm gonna sit down here on the red sofa and then we'll just chat. Does that sound good?
What
Great. Okay. Floor is open. Does anybody what do you want to chat about? Who is this first time on an Oasis class ship?
Spot is the central part, especially at night when you get the little crickets chirping. And I understand we had an owl stowaway here on the previous cruise.
An owl?
Yeah, it was an owl stowaway on the ship. So I guess they finally, caught him and got him into the, I don't know where they took it, but it's some bird sanctuary.
And there's a pigeon this time.
Pigeons roaming that ship right now.
A homing pigeon.
Yeah.
That poor thing is going to be so confused when we get to Spain.
Just think when his owner finds somebody reports, found your homing pigeon in Spain, right?
And all the pigeons probably speak Spanish too. You don't know if that pigeon speaks Spanish. That poor thing is going to be so confused. What about you guys?
Yeah, I just noticed it doesn't really feel like a traditional cruise ship to me, with all the different neighborhoods. You know, it feels like you're out walking in a carnival or downtown somewhere. The only real traditional feeling you get is probably the promenade. So it's a whole new experience, eye-opening for sure. I enjoy the ship a lot.
Corey, before I forget, Corey's also a content creator. Thank you for coming. What's the name of your channel again?
It's called Midships.
Midships.
I specialize in cruise news mostly, but there's some vlog content, some more fun stuff.
Welcome to the world of cruise content creators. Have you all run into Chris Wong so far on the cruise? If you watch Chris?
Yeah.
He's so friendly.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
I didn't realize how he's so tall and skinny though. I feel like I could pick him up with one arm and put him in my bag. Yeah, so we filmed something already for his channel, and I will be filming something for my channel too. He's a really cool guy. If you want to go say hi, highly recommend. Ben and David are on the cruise as well too. Have you run into Ben and David?
But Ben surprised me because he's so tall.
Yeah, he's got the long legs.
He's very tall.
Yeah, it was
and
nice.
You know what I enjoy? That all of the vloggers, you all are so friendly. Everyone, it's so friendly and nice.
It's part of the job, I think. And nowadays, I remember the very first time that anybody recognized me from a video. It's also a story I told in the book. It's so crazy, the whole way that it happened. It was at a time when I only had 100,000 views all together on my channel. Now when I go on cruises, especially on Royal Caribbean, friendly people like you all come up to me every day, and yeah, it's great. Being a content creator is also kind of lonely at times. It's a part of the job that people don't expect. Yeah, we're traveling. We have to go someplace to do these cruise vlogs, to do these travel vlogs. And I always tell people, if it looks like I'm always having a good time, then I'm doing a good job. But what you don't see is the 5 or 6 weeks that I'm sitting at home. Corey knows what this is like, sitting at home in front of the computer by myself, looking at an older version of myself, listening to myself talk and talk and talk. And it's just, yeah, that's the job. That's the job part of it. And I think people don't see that. So It's really great when we do get the chance to be out and about, and I'm always happy when people come up and say hi. And by the way, before I forget, if anybody wants to take a picture afterwards, people often write to me to say, "Oh, it was so nice to say hi to you, but I was too embarrassed to ask to take a picture." And I'm always like, "Just ask, you know, of course." So anybody else have a question or anything you want to chat about?
I love how you, in your videos, you change your voice.
Oh,
Oh, yeah. That's always fun.
That was a subject at the last meetup too. Somebody called it Bobblehead Morgan. I don't know why I started doing that. I think it's just to keep people awake, or maybe to keep myself awake. I can never edit a Sunday sofa time from the beginning to end without taking a nap. Just because listening to my own voice chat and chat and chat, it's like hypnotizing. Thanks for that feedback. Have you guys had the chance to see any of the shows yet?
Oh, yeah, Hairspray last night.
Hairspray, how was it?
Pretty good for a cruise ship show. I mean, they did the whole show.
With intermission or no intermission?
No, the whole
Okay.
thing. They didn't cut out anything.
I love that show. I love the
Yeah.
music.
It's a lot of fun. I mean, it's a feel-good show. You can't dislike it.
Yeah, and you just go out singing that song. And the world keeps spinning around.
It's not Cats.
It's not what?
It's not Cats.
Oh, well, Cats has its place in musical theater history. Let's not go there.
I like cats.
Other shows?
We went to the ice skating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, last night.
Ice skating show, that's the only show that we've seen so far.
The drones.
Oh, the
Yeah.
drones in it were kind of.
There were drones in the ice skating show?
Yes.
Right.
Yes. How did you think the lights were?
He hasn't seen it, right?
No, we did see
Yeah,
it, but I don't think we saw any
At the
drones.
very beginning?
Yes.
We must have saw the Plan B.
80s drones.
No, we would have noticed that.
Oh, you
We must have had about, what, 50 or more drones?
It's one of the best parts of it.
Lights on.
Seen something be wrong at the beginning.
Maybe they haven't.
There were
Yeah.
two cases on the stage or on
That's
the
right.
and
Yeah.
picked them away, not using them. So maybe
Those were the.
I think we saw a drones cut show, yeah, because there was a long time at the beginning where we were just sitting there like,
Is something gonna happen?
yeah, by the way, Marcus is a big wig in theater technical stuff in Germany, so.
You have to get on the Odyssey and see that superhero one where those hundreds of drones flying over the
Well, on the Wonder that we were just on,
Oh,
they
yeah,
have the second
same thing,
version
yeah,
of
the second
that,
version,
yeah. Yeah, so
See, so it's amazing.
speaking of the ice show and that superhero show, like, can we do like a little who has been cruising the longest? Hey guys, thanks. Oh, there you are. There's Marcus, right? Well, you know, if you're late, you gotta sit in the front row. Sorry, that's the deal. Come on up here. Hi, Marcus.
Hello. Hi, Morgan.
And Cece or Cheryl?
Either one of us, Cece is
Okay,
best.
all right. Well, welcome. Yeah, thanks for coming. We're just talking about the shows right now.
Our first cruise was on a ship called the Azure Seas.
Oh, what year was that?
That was 1990 approximately.
So you were like part next to the
I
Titanic,
was in that
right?
late 90s. Yeah. But then our second one was Royal Caribbean. It was on the Viking Serenade,
Okay.
which it used to be a, what do you call it, a car carrier
Okay.
in Norway. It was one of their first ships for Royal Caribbean.
So we have 1990 someplace. How about you guys?
2000 was our first.
Okay. Anybody earlier than the 90s?
1970.
I went my first cruise. I was 1986, and it was on the SS Norway, which
Oh,
Okay.
I remember
was
that.
part of Norwegian Cruise Line.
Wow.
Yeah.
My first one was in New York, the Chandris. And that
Chandris.
was, yes.
Yeah.
And that was like 1987. But my first cruise on Royal was 2005 on the Voyager.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the point I wanted to make is, in the early days of cruising, I think there's always been shows, but in the early days, and even when we started cruising, which was 2004 maybe? 2000? In the 2000s, definitely. But then cruise ship shows were just like, they were always reviews, right?
Yeah.
It was just like, it was
Yeah.
kind of like based on the Las Vegas review style with really lavish costumes,
Yeah.
a chorus kick line. Maybe there was like the best of the 80s show or like the Broadway Melody show or whatever. And now I feel like the trend is going to these shows with a story that aren't necessarily like, I mean, we're lucky to have Hairspray on board, which is of course a really fantastic musical, but like this, the ice skating show, the story there, I just don't need it. And for me, we can go back to pretty costumes and great music and just people being amazing, you know, dancing or singing or doing whatever they do. How do you guys feel about that?
I agree.
Yeah. I'm fine with like one show like Hairspray and then just reviews. I think that'd be cool. And if Royal Caribbean would listen to me, you know.
I think it's amazing that, you know, it's a very small rink.
Yeah.
And the things that they are able to do, and, you know, usually they need more room to get enough speed to do these things, and you wonder, oh my God, how are they going to do that?
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty amazing.
We went to the presentation of the Royal Story, where the cruise director is holding it, telling the story. But he said in the icon that's coming out, it's going to have the round.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
The round ice skating rink, and for the same reason, they could do more acrobatics, speed, faster speeds, and things like that.
The icon looks like it's going to be amazing, but it also looks like the Long Island iced tea of cruise ships, right? It's like, how many things can you put in one place and still make it appealing?
It's going to
like
have one additional neighborhood too.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting to see. I mean, I'm sure I'll try it, I'm sure I'll cruise on it, but it's definitely not for everybody. And you know, they're replacing the boardwalk is now like a huge children's area. And I think,
Surfside.
I mean, for families with kids, of course, that's great, but can you imagine just the noise level in there all day? That's gonna be crazy. Imagine if they're like, if you have like an inside cabin and they're like, we upgraded you to this area. You get there and you're like, oh no, I'm going back.
The Hebrew show, we were scheduled to see it night one, of course it was canceled. But I don't know if they've had it since.
I heard that the second performance on the first night did happen.
Because we were on the boardwalk this morning, it must have been the end, because there was just tons of people streaming.
Oh, they did the sexy man competition.
Oh, is that there? I knew there was something going on.
If y'all want to see the trophy, come on up. On The Wonder that we were just on a couple months ago, the intense maximum performance, that was so amazing. We saw it like 3.5 times.
Wow.
So good, and I'm really looking forward to seeing it here, and I hope that works out, and you really try to go see it if you can.
I have
go ahead.
I have a question right quick. I want to pull everybody. What is your favorite class of Royal Caribbean ship?
Favorite Royal Caribbean ship class?
Because mine is Quantum.
No, mine is the Oasis class. I have been on every one of them and I love them.
I'm with you, the Quantum class. It's just the right size.
Quantum? Is that you were on the Anthem? Is that Quantum?
That's a Quantum.
Yeah,
that's
I like the
Quantum.
Anthem.
I like the Quantum.
I guess we're old fogies. We prefer the Vision class.
Oh, those are nice too.
But for me, I like the Quantum class because, unlike this one, I like this ship, but the Quantum class to me, it allows you to go outside. The Windjammer got outdoor seating. I love the Aqua Theater, but I prefer 270. I love 270. I think it's the greatest thing ever. I love the theater and the shows in there. 270 is amazing. I love that the solarium is enclosed.
Okay, Marcus and I were talking about
And they have a pool that also have a retractable roof. So in bad weather, which we probably gonna experience, everything could be closed off. And I like that the C-Plex is totally inside. I love the bumper cars, the skating, and the trapeze and everything. I just thought somebody was really thinking on that ship, and they did it right. You know, it's not like the Bliss or something like Norwegian where the go-kart take up so much space, so the pools are really small.
If I could have the intense maximum performance aqua show on the Anthem of the Seas, that would be my favorite ship. Those two things together would be amazing for me, because when I did the Anthem to Bermuda, I did skydiving I think 3 times. I just got lucky, and I was really annoying. I was just hanging around there asking them all the time, do you have extra space? Do you have extra space? So, and that was when it was included in the price of your cruise. I think now you have to pay a minimal fee for it.
You do.
You do? Did you cruise with them recently?
It was last February.
Okay, and how much was it?
Oh, I can't remember that. I don't
Okay, it might be on different sailings. I don't know. On my sailing, it was included, but you were only allowed to do it once. Like they had your name registered. But yeah, that was another thing where, like I said, I just kind of showed up and asked all the time. If you have a chance, I'm here. I could do it. And those bumper cars, oh my gosh, did I bump those cars? That was so much fun. And those are good bumper cars too. Yeah. Yes. I would do one round and get right back in line. Yeah. That was so much fun. Just a really great mix of entertainment and attractions on the ship.
When I was on the cruise, one of the activities was
skeet shooting.
Giving people on this ship now with shotguns.
Well, and like, oh, let's not get into that discussion. But also, people used to also hit golf balls off the back of the ship, just golf balls into the ocean, right?
There used to be another thing. I had some friends that sailed on the Island Princess way back.
Yeah.
And then on boarding day, you could bring guests on the ship.
Oh, I know.
They give you guest passes. All guests, please leave.
That's crazy. You was out all ashore, going ashore, and you had to get off.
But I mean, when you see how far cruising has come, especially for dining, and there was no such thing as anytime dining, and a million restaurants, and it was you sat in one dining room, and this is what you had, and everybody ate at the same time.
I like that much better now. I am not. I mean, I'm a fun person. I think I like to talk to people. I feel very personable, but I don't like our first couple of cruises. I remember thinking, oh gosh, who is going to be sitting at our table and what are they going to be like? And,
you have that.
And like I was saying in the beginning, and then when it comes the whole discussion, so what do you all do for a living? You know, and it's like, I'm just going to tell people I'm a proctologist. I just don't want to go through the questions. You know, I like to be the center of attention, obviously. You have to have a little bit of that to do what I did in the past and to do what I do now. But when you're sitting at a table and you just want to have dinner, I don't want to go through that interview every night. Marcus and I, when we first started cruising, we were both working for big, showbiz production companies, and sometimes it's nice to not be that, but when you're sitting at a table with 10 strangers and then all of a sudden the conversation turns to, oh, you guys are from Germany. What did they teach about Hitler over there? I can't tell you how many times people ask us that question. And then all of a sudden people are talking about Trump and all this, and it's just like, no, I don't mean that. So anyways, that's why I'm so much happier that now, if you want, you can go and sit at a table for two, or you can just go to the buffet, and that there's other dining options. That everybody needs to go to eat at this time. That's like, is there anybody who prefers that?
No.
You do? Well, why? Tell us about why you prefer it that way. I hope you don't feel like we're hating on you. Because I know everything's different.
I didn't keep in contact with him, but for whatever the length of the cruise is, and usually we don't do the short one, so a minimum of 7 days, I get to learn about lives that I never thought about. So I've met Belgians. We had a table where everybody was no younger than 80. I mean, it was amazing. I mean, I wasn't, and I'm not 80 now, but it was so funny. One person, he was so under conversation, he had a pen, and he put it near you, and it was a microphone, because even though he couldn't hear, he wanted it, we had a big table, you could hear what you're saying. And I thought, now when I'm 80, I want to have that. I'm going to have microphones everywhere, because I want to hear. And he was like, conversationalist. You don't have that anymore. People are on their phones all the time. And then when I try to talk to people, it's so hard. People can't form a few paragraphs or a few sentences. Like when I read your text, I was like, wow, you made a paragraph. But have you noticed that people now, just when they talk, everybody's short, they don't know how to acronyms, but it's just like difficult to have a conversation, and people are so embarrassed because they don't speak well. And when you have a conversation for 7 days, the first day is awkward, and then after that, every day you only see these people for 2 hours every night, and you all share what you did during the day, because the person you're with, you're there with them every single day, and they already have the same experience, and you can't talk about it. But for 2 hours, you can brag and you can talk about life experiences, and you can meet all different types of people that you normally wouldn't have a chance. And that's why I have purple hair. People will recognize me, and then they'll say things. Yeah, it's just one of those things that it makes it easier to break the ice, because on a ship, it is not easy to meet complete strangers.
Thank you for sharing that, Lydia. I didn't think about that. That it's like it's a social exercise. It's an ability that we're losing because of just the way society has evolved nowadays, huh? Yeah. To be able to sit down and have a conversation, even just a lengthy small talk with strangers. It's an ability that we're losing. Like it could be an interesting social experiment to like put teenagers with adults in that situation and just see what happens. Because my nieces and nephews, I don't know how they'd react in that situation either. A lot of social anxiety also because of that.
Yes, that's the thing. It's like you can't without your phone. How do you have a meal now? I don't know. I've not seen anybody even on the ship without a phone at a meal. And when I remember when we did the dining, those forced dining, nobody had phones, and even though you don't know the person next to you, you still had to make some talk. But after 7 days, everybody's friendly. After 7 days.
I'm still not going to do it, but Katie, what did you want to say? Sorry.
Well, along with what you were saying, we went on a cruise one time, and we sat with several couples, and we got friends with 2 of the couples, and we all went on another cruise. And then one of the couples, and talk about, how often does this happen? I'm a teacher, and I teach kids that are blind and visually impaired, and one of the couples, they're from California, she did the exact same thing I did in California. So, I don't know what the chances of that.
We are friends?
Yeah, we still keeping.
Yeah.
By the way,
yeah.
When I was in St. Martin, no, not St. Martin, where did you have your stitches?
Yeah, it was St. Martin.
Was it St. Martin?
Where's Megan's Bay?
Yeah.
St. Martin, yeah.
St. Thomas.
St. Thomas. Okay, St. Thomas,
yeah. St. Thomas. I had almost a stitches with my foot too. I was walking along the beach and hit a rock and tore off my toenail. It was a toe that goes wee all the way home. But I wish I would have known about the condom thing.
Oh, yeah.
Because for the rest of the trip, no water on my foot. The swimming pools and
I feel like there needs to be an explanation. I've never met Barry before. Diana, don't worry. There is no backstory to this. Okay, so while I was at Megan's Bay, I stepped on a rock, cut open the bottom of my foot, and I had to, I went back to the ship thinking they're just going to take a look at it and say, you're fine. No, I had to get stitches. I got stitches in the bottom of my foot on the Harmony of the Seas. Cost me $300, which is actually not that bad. People say, well, if you go to the emergency room, it's going to cost you more than that.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, so anyways, the next day we were then on, where's the airport beach?
St. Martin.
St. Martin.
Yes.
Maho Beach.
Yeah.
St. Martin is the plane's coming right over you.
Yeah, that's St. Martin.
All right, so while I was there, I wanted to go to the airport beach, and I also wanted to go to the Bikini Beach on the other side, which is a beautiful, well, it was beautiful back then. Haven't been there since. I know they're still rebuilding from the hurricane. And I was like, well, I want to go swimming in the ocean, but I had stitches in my foot, and you can't. So I went to the store and bought extra large Magnum condoms. Not the first time. And I put 2 of them over my foot with I think a rubber band or something. And I was like, all right, this is how I'm gonna do it. And I did not care, and it worked. Those are strong. They can take a beating, yeah. So that's the story. Something that connects us, Barry.
Definitely gonna buy the book now.
Except I just had to stay on the water. So.
Yeah. Well, now you know.
I didn't know the hack.
These guys here, Steve and Tony, they have a cabin hack. Would you mind telling what you did, or you want me to tell it?
I could tell it.
Okay.
Well, quite often when we cruise, we get a suite, but sometimes
flex.
Pardon?
I said flex. That's like show off.
No, but sometimes it's like we want to take a lot of cruises, and so we don't want to spend a whole lot of money on a suite because that adds up too quickly. So, and sometimes there's just not a suite available. So we have this thing we call Create a Suite. So what we do is we get connecting cabins, and we change one into the living room, change the other one into the bedroom, and that way we get a living room, a bedroom, 2 bathrooms, 2 closets, 2 desks, 2 TVs, etc., and double the points because we have enough points. So we actually create a suite.
It's a really good idea. We did a cabin crawl the other day and got to see somebody who had that set up like that, and I was surprised that it does feel like one space because you have the connecting door in the inside and then the balcony is open too. And it does feel, Angela, Katie, right? You saw it, right? It feels like one space. And okay, question, just quick before we say goodbye. I have a question about it. Is it like 2 of you and 2 of you on the reservation, or is it 1 and 1?
It's 1 and 1.
So it's 2 solo cruises. So one of you could get the drink package, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could also hack the system that way.
I guess that'd be we're both Diamond Plus, so we get 5 free drinks a day.
I know who I'm sitting next to in the bar tonight.
Is there a Morgan that that changes tone? Is there a Morgan that does very unofficial traffic guides, and then there's the Morgan that goes home and his husband Morgan's a Morgan?
Well, there's a person in the room we could ask.
I mean, because he's married to it too. It's a very different thing. Is it? Because I see no, you have to. It's business, both ends. But does Morgan have to switch modes?
No, well, it doesn't switch to a totally another mode. If we are in private mode, so that's just Morgan. You can see him on his video just like he is.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's never that I see something that he posts and that I think, okay, well, this is not the Morgan that I know. It's definitely the same. This is like he is.
What you see is what you get.
Yeah, I mean, it's the truth. You see when you watch your videos, you know that this is you. When you slip a bad word in there, you didn't mean to say it, but it happens. It's not that kind of a thing. But
we were just talking about this with a friend of mine in Florida. He was asking, how do we, because Marcus now also works, he has his own company, and he was asking us, well, how do we decide when is the weekend? Or when is the time off? Of course, there are times where, like I said, the job situation shows up. To be honest, there are times when I sit down and I think, oh, what am I going to talk about in front of this dang that sofa today? And that happens so often, and I don't know, somehow it always works out, or I'm sitting there on the computer and I just cannot keep my eyes open, but I think I've got to get this video done before we leave tomorrow. Those are the times where it feels like a job to me, but otherwise I just feel so lucky and so, I'll say blessed. But we don't have a weekend. I think because of my time in theater, I'm the most creatively active at night still, even though it's been over 10 years since my last show on stage. And sometimes, our night usually ends on the couch at around 9 o'clock in the evening, where we sit down and watch YouTube or watch Netflix or whatever. And sometimes Marcus will go to bed and I'll sit down at my computer to watch whatever it was I was working on that day. I'll just see, okay, how far did I get? Do I need different music? Does this work? And sometimes I'll end up sitting there until 3 in the morning. I'll just keep working because I enjoy it. Let me just take the opportunity again to say thank you so much for the support and for allowing me to do this. It's I need to take these moments also every now and then to remind myself how lucky I am. And it's because of this connection that we have, and because you watch the videos, or you sign up for Patreon, or you buy the book, or maybe you bought the t-shirts when there were t-shirts, and just you show up at things like this, and it feels really, really good, and I'm very honored for each and all of your presence here. So thank you so much. And yeah.